Welcome to Dr. KJ Health Talks. I'm Dr. Kavya. Understanding more about carbohydrates and its types helps in removing the unwanted fear and confusions about your food. Ever wondered what's really in your food? Is it fueling your body or draining your energy? Today, we are diving deep into the nutrients in your food, mainly about carbohydrates, what they do, where to find them, and how to make the best choices for a healthier you. Most of you might have heard that carbohydrate is bad, it will be affecting your health badly. So, it is not correct totally. So, understanding about carbohydrates, their types, and how you can incorporate in a healthy way will help you to keep a healthy body. What is food actually? Food is any substance that gives you energy, physical and mental growth and development, repairs and protects your body. Then what are these nutrients? Nutrients are the substances present in your food that gives us all these above mentioned functions of our food. Your body needs 6 essential nutrients to function at its best. Let's break them down. We can divide them like into macronutrients and micronutrients based on the amount required by our body. So those which are required in large amount are known as macronutrients, and those which are required in minute or small amounts are known as micronutrients. Then which are the macronutrients? Our carbohydrates, proteins, fat and our water are considered as macronutrients. Then what are macronutrients? Vitamins and minerals needed in small quantities but are as essential as macronutrients in our body. We will go through each one of these elements, their digestion, absorption and how it is used in our body for a better understanding of what we eat and what is required for our body. So our main topic for today is about carbohydrates. So we will be discussing all these things to clear all your doubts and queries about carbohydrates, which is your energy source for the body. Another important function of carbohydrates is that it is a protein saver. Even if it is a major source of energy, other macronutrients like our proteins and fats also gives energy for our body. Thus, one important function of carbohydrate is its protein and fat sparing or fat saving action, as energy production is not the primary function of these proteins and fats. They may be required for other important functions like muscle building, repair and absorption of various fat-soluble vitamins in our body, which we will be discussing later in the videos. Our conclusion is that insufficient amount of carbohydrates in our diet will end in breaking down all the proteins from our muscles and tissues for energy, which is not recommended for a healthy building of the body. So our carbohydrates is as essential as our proteins and fats in our nutrients. So carbohydrates are your body's fuel. So it is found in bread, rice, fruits and vegetables. So they provide the energy needed for the daily activities. But be smart and choose wisely. Choose whole grains over refined and ultra-processed ones to get the fiber and the long-lasting energy for your body. We have simple carbohydrates or our bad carbohydrates like soda and the sugary carbonated drinks, white bread, chips, some sugary cereals, white pasta, fruit juices that are filtered, sweets and our packet biscuits, syrups, white rice and our refined flours like maida. Our complex carbohydrates or our good carbohydrate sources are oats, whole wheat bread, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, quinoa, popcorn, beans, whole grain cereals, whole wheat pasta, squashes, lentils, sweet potatoes. Our aim should be to avoid the simple sugars and adapt or choose our complex or the good carbohydrates into our diet. How or where this carbohydrate is digested in your body? Before knowing that, I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever wondered, and you might have even got annoyed when your parents or elders told you to chew your food properly before swallowing? What is the importance of chewing food in our mouth? To To know that, we have to know about the digestion of carbohydrates. What is this digestion? Digestion means breaking down of complex food materials into simple and easily absorbable form. So digestion of carbohydrates starts in our mouth. Yes, you heard it right. We have saliva in our mouth, which has a digestive enzyme known as our salivary amylase that helps in the digestion or the breaking down of the carbohydrates into simple absorbable units. How or where this carbohydrate is digested in your body? Before knowing that, I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever wondered, and you might have even got annoyed when your parents or elders told you to chew your food properly before swallowing? What is the importance of chewing food in our mouth? To know that, we have to know about the digestion of carbohydrates. What is this digestion? Digestion means breaking down of complex food materials into simple and easily absorbable form. So digestion of carbohydrates starts in our mouth. Yes, you heard it right. The longer one chews the food, the better will be the digestion of carbohydrates. Now I hope you understood the importance of chewing of food. In the stomach, there is no digestion of carbohydrates as it lacks this amylase enzyme. Major site of carbohydrate digestion takes place in our small intestine with the help of amylase enzyme secreted by our pancreas, yet another important organ helping in the digestion of carbohydrates. What is the fate of carbohydrates after this digestion? It is broken down into simple sugars like our glucose, fructose and galactose, which will then get absorbed and travel through our blood and reaches our body cells and tissues. The cells burn or use these simple sugars to release the energy for our daily activities. Thus, carbohydrate is a main source of our energy. Ever wondered why we feel sweet taste when we chew our rice or any of these carbohydrate sources? It is because the main component of these carbohydrates is our sugars. After digestion and absorption of some of these sugars, the remaining glucose will be remaining in our blood as blood sugar and will be used whenever it is needed for our body for the energy production. Extra sugar will be stored in our liver and muscles as glycogen, which can be used whenever needed by breaking down these into glucose. But there is a limit for this storing. Once the limit of glycogen storage is exceeded, it will be converted and stored as fat in our body. So that is when carbohydrate or the overconsumption of carbohydrate affects our body in a bad way by accumulation of extra fat in our body. So try to consume these in moderation. That is a story about our carbohydrates. Now I hope it is clear for you that carbohydrate is essential part of our diet. But moderation or a balanced diet is the key. Excess consumption will lead to increased fat deposits and weight gain. Always try to consume the whole grains or the complex carbohydrates. So how should we consume these carbohydrates? To know that, we have to know about the types of carbohydrates. So there are mainly two types, available and non-available carbohydrates. Those people who are usually using the social medias or reading the health sections in the newspapers might have heard the term fiber. Take enough fiber daily to clear your bowels or to prevent the constipation, to feel full for a long time and so on. So this fiber is nothing else but our non-available carbohydrates. So what are these non-available carbohydrates? These are the ones that are not digested in our intestine or in our small intestine. Rather, it reaches our large intestine and it acts as a food material for our bacteria, that is good bacteria in our intestine. So these bacteria will be helping in the breakdown of these non-available carbohydrates like our dietary fiber and the resistant starch. The available carbohydrates are the ones that can be easily digested in our body and it gives quick energy that is required for our body. So examples for these available carbohydrates are like our white rice, fruits, sweets, all these can be digested and absorbed easily in our body. So taking these in large amounts can increase our blood sugar rapidly and can lead to weight gain and energy draining. So consume or control the consumption of these things. Now we know what is this fiber. It is not a new macronutrient, but it is our non-available carbohydrates. So how can we get enough fiber in our diet? So it is the indigestible carbohydrates like our cellulose present in the plant foods, and this fiber holds water from our large intestine and makes the stool softer and helps in easy elimination of the waste from our large intestine. So that is how it helps in preventing the constipation. So if you are having constipation or difficulty in passing stools, what should you eat? Eat more complex carbohydrates like our cereals, the pulses, grams and lentils, vegetables and fruits with fibers or our non-available carbohydrates. Our fiber comes in two main types, soluble and insoluble fiber. Both are important for our health, but they work differently in our body. Let's see how it works. First one is our soluble fiber, which dissolves in water to form something like a gel-like substance. So what are its functions? So it slows down our digestion, helps control our increasing blood sugar levels. It also lowers our LDL or the bad cholesterol in our body. Feeds the gut-friendly bacteria, that is our good bacteria in our stomach, acts as a prebiotic source. The sources of our soluble fibers are like oats, barley, apples, citrus fruits like oranges and lemon. Chia seeds and our flax seeds are good sources of our soluble fibers. Then we have our carrots, beans, grams, lentils. All these are good sources of our soluble fibers. Number 2 is insoluble fibers that does not dissolve in water and which adds the bulk to our stool materials. What are its functions? It speeds up the passage of food and waste through the gut, and it also helps in preventing the constipation. What are the sources of insoluble fibers? Our whole wheat flour, then wheat bran, nuts and seeds, vegetables like our cauliflower, green beans, potatoes, and fruits which are having the skin. All these are the good sources of insoluble fibers. Let's see the health benefits of our insoluble and our soluble fibers. So our insoluble fibers promotes regular bowel movements, helps prevent conditions like diverticulosis and constipation, helps prevent even the diseases like colon cancer. Then what are the benefits of our soluble fiber? Helps manage conditions like diabetes, reduce risk of heart diseases, and it improves the gut health. How much fiber should we intake daily? Around 25 to 30 grams total fiber, which includes both our soluble and insoluble fibers, should be taken for an optimum health. How can we get this fiber? Most fruits and vegetables contain both types of fibers, so consuming them will fulfill our daily requirement of fiber intake. You can go through the above lists to plan which you are going to include in a day. To make it simple, you can have fruits and vegetables daily along with one item from soluble and one item from insoluble fiber additionally. I hope now this will remove your stress over the daily fiber intake. Take small steps, start including items gradually instead of overloading as your system needs time to adapt to the new changes. If you are altogether making a big change to your diet, it might lead to bloating or the gas issues to your intestines and gut. There is a caution. People with conditions like irritable bowel syndrome or the IBS and chronic diarrhea should limit or follow the recommendations of your doctor in taking the fiber-rich foods. They are usually recommended to follow the low fiber or the low FODMAP diets to reduce the stress on their intestines. Now we have our resistant starch, which is again a type of our non-available carbohydrate that resists the digestion of the starch into our glucose form. Rather, it will be converted into a fermented form in our large intestine, and it feeds our good bacteria in our intestine. So it basically acts in a similar way to our fibers. So where we can get these resistant starch? It is usually again present in our whole grains and lentils, then in cooked and cooled rice, potatoes, and raw bananas. All these consist of our resistant starch. Now I hope you are clear about the macronutrient carbohydrate in your meals and how to add it healthy way. One small habit can make drastic changes in our body. We all know that knowledge is power, but how much we utilize that same knowledge in our life is the only thing that matters the most at the end of the day. It's always better late than never. Start with a small habit today. Limit the intake of ultra-processed foods like maida in your food. Choose whole grain flours instead of these. Can you take this small step to take care of yourself? So next time when you eat, think if it is giving you quick energy or long-term health benefits. Both are important in the right amounts. If you like our video, please share it with someone who requires more nutrients in their body. We can discuss about more remaining macro and micronutrients in our next videos. Also, we will learn our second habit and more on the portion control methods. Until then, eat smart and stay healthy. Thank you.